Hey everyone, this is Mr. Everything, and unfortunately this is a video that I feel like I have to make. It's something I've held off on for quite a while regarding T-Mobile home internet. And this is the advertised 5G internet that you're supposed to ditch your overpriced ISP for. And you can see right here, and this is basically the hallmark of home internet, at least from T-Mobile, is the deprioritization. As you can see, we're, prime time right now. So there's a lot of people on the network. And I've done speed tests in the past. I've done a ton of videos. And when this service works, it's pretty good. It's not what I'd call 5G. The best I've ever gotten was 130 download. And my upload's around 25 to 30. That's pretty good. Download 130, that'd be okay. But that's like middle of the night, early in the morning. Daytime, it's between maybe 40 to 70, and it's been getting worse each time. I've had it for 3 months now. As you can see, this is my speed during deprioritization, and they say it's deprioritization, but I think here that there might be some type of throttling. It could just be the way their CGNAT and the way their network is. It just doesn't work as good with some services, with some streaming services, others. So I'm not going to say anything for sure. This is just speculation and maybe troubleshooting. And I want to know if other people have these same problems. Again, I've talked a lot in the past about, my setup, the gateway, which is pretty good. I'm using just the gateway. Some people say you should add a router. I have an airport. It's kind of old. I might try that and see if it works. And if it does, then I'll buy a good modern router. But I don't think I should need one. They sell this as being convenient all-in-one, so it should work. If you want to add a router, then that's your prerogative. But so you can see, I get good signal. I would say anything above 3 bars is pretty close to what that tower is capable of. I go in here. I've been stuck on B66. When I first got this, I was on B2. My ping was like 19, was the lowest, and then it would go around 20, 30, maybe 40 under deprioritization. Now it's closer to 100. I called about a month ago and said this, and then we reset the gateway, and that didn't change anything, because they said they would look at the network, like the tower in my area. And I got a voicemail, and they were saying that there's a work order in, like, for a new one, but they don't have any info beyond that. Again, I'm pretty close. I'm about less than 2 miles away from my tower, and I'm up on a second floor, and I get good signal. Now, I do get N41, so not too bad, but someone else had told me, though, that they always say that they're getting a new tower, and they just say that. And then I was also told that I would be have a price adjustment if I had poor service, but with my last bill, when I called, it was still at $50. So there's some issues there, and it is kind of getting old when this happens every single night. And why should the home internet user take a back seat? I get if you have Magenta Max, maybe, that you're paying for that priority data, but I don't understand why the home internet user who's at home trying to use their internet has to take a back seat to someone that's on their phone. Because either they're out and about and do they need priority to text in their car or watch a TikTok video? And if they're at home, why aren't they on their Wi-Fi? The only thing I could think of is maybe since they just opened the home internet in my area, that more people are getting it and it's congesting the network. But again, as I showed in my past videos, the best I could get was 130 down. A lot of people say they get, 300, 400, 500 megabits. So it seems like for me, just my area is not the T-Mobile is not very capable. It's not very worked out in my area. And hopefully that'll get improved, but it's something that I think you should consider. So let me go ahead. And I should be under deprioritization. Oh, it's going up a little bit. Pretty bad though, right? My DSL was 0.7 down, or 0.7 uploads of almost unusable, and the download was 7. So this is terrible. This is worse than the DSL. And we can go in here. There's that terrible latency. Again, the upload's okay. That's not as good as it usually is, but again, unless you're uploading a video, 12 is still enough to function. But when your download's that bad, it's useless. And you can see now it's up to 20, but terrible, right? That's not good. That's 3G. That's a 3G speed. That's not 5G. That's not next gen. That's not anything to be proud of. Even with deprioritization, if I was like under deprioritization at like 50 megabits, then you'd still be able to do 4K. You could still stream anything. You could still probably game if your latency wasn't crazy. But this is just a joke. How is it supposed to be a home ISP replacement whenever every single night during peak usage it's useless? That defeats the purpose of it being a home internet that you're building like your whole core at home. It's useless. That just doesn't make sense to me. And it's been 3 months and it's only been getting worse. And I think that's a problem. So I'll go ahead and try a speed test too. I usually use this one. There's that unacceptable ping with high jitter. T-Mobile also recommends you get UMA. You get a discount and a free telo. And I got one, and due to that ping and jitter, I mean, you don't need much download or upload to do that. But with ping like that, your calls drop. They're terrible. So there goes your voice over IP. There goes your gaming. This isn't the ideal type of internet for gaming, but it was doable. As again, I've done videos covering that. That's a mediocre speed. That is not 5G. That's not 5G. And again, they'll say, well, our network uses deprioritization, but then your network isn't worth using, is my opinion. That's just pathetic. That's like what I would get with Sprint in 2012. So this is like crappy 10-year-old consistency right now. But then certain things will still work, and that's something I want to show. This was, again, what it's like under deprioritization. This is another test that I want to try. If that was probably as relevant as the video is, but if you want to stick around, this is just something that I've noticed as well. I've used Sling for years, and if DSL, again, if I wasn't doing anything else or downloading in the background, I could get 1080p. It never really buffered. With this, again, in the middle of the night or something, it'll work. But during deprioritization, it usually won't even load stuff. And again, being TV, I can't really show too much. I'll get copyrighted. Usually, if I go to the DVR, it won't work. You can see right now. I'll switch to auto. I don't really think this makes much of a difference. It could just be that Sling doesn't mesh well with how this network shows up. I don't know. But I know it worked under DSL. And so we're getting a little bit there. It's definitely low res, but it is playing. And again, I can't really show too much, but kind of works. Okay, now you can see I didn't pause it. So I got about 15 seconds, and that makes it unwatchable. But I can switch to my phone, which uses Mint Mobile, which is an MVNO of T-Mobile, and it'll work. So it tells me that it's the deprioritization. So you can see that. I'm on, I have it named as Starlink, but let me switch to my iPhone as my hotspot, and let's see what happens. I think it'll work. It has before, so this is a test. You can see my phone gets 5G. So this is T-Mobile. It's probably the same tower. And I might have to refresh this now. Yeah, cut the stream because it lost connection. Let's see what happens now. And now it works. That's a problem. That is, so you can see I'm on my phone. It's it's Mint Mobile. I'm not lying. Why would I lie? What would that prove? It's not the greatest quality, but it's probably the same network, and it actually works. So why are they throttling their own home internet user with someone using an MVNO. This probably should be even lower on the priority list. And you can see it's already in HD. So again, I can't show too much, but I'm going to cut that right here. Again, I call it Starlink. It's just to be funny. It's T-Mobile. So we're back on T-Mobile. And one thing I like to try is YouTube, which they advertise YouTube Premium. Let's see if 1440/60 will play. Probably not, because we're deprioritized. So you can see this is already going to start playing. And it probably will buffer. But this is playing this to where Sling couldn't even maintain probably 240p. So how is that? How is the deprioritized speed that caps me there for during this peak usage to where it makes Sling unusable, but then YouTube works fine in 1440/60, and it did just buffer there a little bit, but that's not too bad. And if I give it a minute to buffer, I could probably watch that rest of that video with probably no buffering. So that doesn't make sense to me. That's inconsistent, and that's something I don't like. So again, I could probably keep showing stuff, but you kind of get the point. Let me try this again and see where this is. Again, unacceptable. The network obviously is more capable of that. It's manual deprioritization. Doesn't allow a lot of things to work. Won't let Sling work. YouTube somehow can work like that 1440p 60 frame video. Even with this internet speed, it'll do that. Like, it probably issues a little more bandwidth to do YouTube, unless YouTube is compressed so much that even 1440/60 would work within this crappy speed I'm getting right now. But I could continue on, but I think for this video, I'll just stop it here. You get the gist. Mint Mobile with T-Mobile's towers, when I use them as a hotspot, can play Sling in HD, no throttling, which is weird because they're an MVNO. But the T-Mobile, the first party, their internet is so deprioritized, at least in my area, that I can't even function practically during the peak hours from like maybe 7 to 10 or 6 to 9, just depends when. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm curious if other people have this issue. It's not your fault. People say reset the router, that has nothing to do with it. Or they'll say add your own router, that has nothing to do with it. Or they'll say use an Ethernet cable, which has nothing to do with it. I can go outside right now and point this right at the tower, get 5 bars, and it'll be the same speed. There's not much difference from 4 to 5 bars. And later on tonight, maybe after 12, it'll work again, and I can probably watch Sling. Now, I wanted to throw this last little tidbit in here. So you can see that's T-Mobile home internet on my MacBook Pro. I'm right next to the gateway. This is very competent setup. This is my iPhone 13. So this is also T-Mobile. It's Mint Mobile. Again, if you don't believe me, you can just look it up. I think most people that would be interested in this type of video can understand. It's an MVNO. So this is using a T-Mobile 5G tower, and that's what T-Mobile home internet should be using. Could it be connected to a different tower that works better? Maybe, but I don't see how the phone, even though it's a good phone, I don't see how the phone could perform better than the gateway, which is specifically designed to be a larger antenna and more capable. But let's try this speed test on 5G and not on the Wi-Fi. So again, their ping's terrible, but this isn't a throttled speed. This is closer to what I would get if I wasn't being deprioritized. And this is fast, but you could see even when I did the speed test, it wasn't. Again, that latency is just unacceptable. So it probably is that same tower. But what I'm getting across is this is a deprioritized prepaid MVNO. just for fun, let's try this. It's again terrible. How is that? And why is that? I don't get it. So the home internet user is being punished by T-Mobile, but the prepaid, they just have their deprioritization set up all wrong. And maybe can someone that knows this can explain that to me? Is it strictly negligence on their end, or is it just something I don't understand? But quite interesting for sure. And I like to get it in video just so people can see some of the trials and tribulations of kind of working out using this 5G home internet. So in closing, Verizon also offers their home internet. Unfortunately, as you can see, my area only qualifies for LTE home internet. That caps out at 50 megabits download, but say their network's capable of 200, which I don't know, this is a made-up number. But if everyone's always capped at 50, then someone that's hogging it can't use more than 50, and maybe that would keep everyone there. That's assuming it's balanced and there's like backhaul. That's beyond what I understand. But their gateway is much more competent. I don't think they have a CG NAT. I think theirs is different. Their gateway is a lot better. I think it kind of has a bridge mode. It has way more settings. It has like quality of service and stuff. Same price. They advertise this with like a phone plan, but it's 50 with so it's the same as T-Mobile. And now the 5G is unlimited speeds. Verizon's slower with their mid-band network than T-Mobile, but theirs might be better. So I'm gonna try this. I have no choice. So I'll be paying $100, but it's still less than what DSL was. It was like 106. So I'll have to get the LTE for now. Hopefully within a year, Verizon will upgrade my area to C-band and I'll get the 5G. And it's the same box. Hopefully they can just send an update over and it'll uncap the speed and work better. Theirs might have the exact same problem. I don't know. But due to how annoying this is every single night, I'm going to have to get another provider and try both of them. And it's still cheaper than what my local cable would be too. They're even more expensive, but they're much faster. And but theirs is data cap too, which I don't like. But I'll leave it there. I'm going to have to do some more experiments. Let me know you have this problem. That is one question I have for anyone that's stuck around, that there are people that are really into this. I know a lot of people say their speeds are, 3, 4, 500 megabits. What is yours like during, 8 o'clock at night? Can you stream? Can you do 4K? Do you use Sling? If you use YouTube TV, again, that even worked for me, so I don't know why that is, but does Sling work for you at this time of night? If your speeds go down, what do they go down to? Where's your ping at, and do you game with it? I haven't gamed in a while just because I haven't desired to, but I'm sure I wouldn't be able to right now at those speeds anyway, online gaming. But I'll leave it here. This will be more videos, at least that's the benefit. I can kind of play around with it. I'll probably wait until the end of the month so it'll be easier just to remember the billing on it. Hopefully T-Mobile gets their network fixed. I know it's still a new service, and overall it's not that bad. Like, it's always worked. I've never had it just disconnect and not work. I've had to reboot the router a couple times, but it's not terrible. It's just, however they have this deprioritization, it's all screwed up. Is it just my area, my tower? Is it the nature of how they have things set? I don't know, but it's something that needs to be ironed out, and I want to see if Verizon can do any better. So hopefully that was worth something to you. I'd like to know your situation. Thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Have a good one.